Has socialism let you down, taken your business, put your family in a gulag, or maybe left your country in tatters? Don't worry, because from what I've been told, that probably wasn't real socialism. But do we know if that's true? We know that many people in some nations have tried to create a real socialist society. So the question is, why hasn't it worked? Or why, when it fails, are we told that that wasn't real socialism? Well, to get to the bottom of this, let's try to define our terms. Karl Marx wrote of a socialist society with the anthem of "from each according to their ability and to each according to their needs." Sounds great. How do you do it? Well, to achieve this, Marx demanded the abolition of the private ownership of the means of production. So whether your socialism is democratic, revolutionary, utopian, market, authoritarian, or some other variant, the common feature among all versions seems to be that the means of production cannot be owned privately like it is in free market economies. So the question is, if you want to transition your current society into a real socialist one, how would you go about doing that? Well, presumably, not everyone is going to be keen to hand over their property for this experiment, so you will require a legal apparatus to confiscate and redistribute property. And we typically rely on the government to do this, since that's the institution that can use aggressive force legally. Now, proponents of real socialism may argue that once you have a sufficiently socialist and egalitarian society, this sort of government action will no longer be required, or at least it'll be significantly limited. Problem is, that never seems to happen. Because it turns out the government power that was required to do all the confiscating and redistributing is now required to maintain the socialist order, politically, socially, and economically. And the only way it can do this is through the application of force. In a socialist-run economy, trains still need to run on time. Factories still need to produce consumer goods, and the farms still need to provide food. And when someone doesn't pull their weight, there must be punishment. And so the powerful government doesn't go away. In fact, in many cases, it becomes even more powerful. Now, interestingly enough, there are examples of peaceful attempts at socialism. Right here in the good old capitalist United States of America, many people have attempted to set up communes that ran off the principles of socialism and communal property. Now, because of property rights in the United States, you can establish a commune, you can run a commune, you can join a commune, you just can't force other people to join with you. And over 30 of such communes were founded on the ideas of utopian socialist Charles Fourier. Most of them only lasted a few years, not because the US government came in and cracked them down for being socialist. They failed because people chose to leave. So what's so interesting is that in practice, socialists are generally free to set up socialist-style communes in free countries, but capitalists will be violently oppressed in socialist countries. So perhaps the reason why we don't see any countries successfully implementing that real socialism we keep hearing about is not because it hasn't been tried, but because its over-reliance on violence and coercion produces not only poor economic results, but socially unbearable ones. How socially unbearable? Well, you can watch this video here where you'll learn the story of Joachim Neumann, who actually risked his life to escape socialist East Germany into the West.